Hey everybody, it's me, Rick Acosta, the Dodger Card Collector, coming to you with another video. Today is Monday, May 13th. A belated happy Mother's Day to all of my moms out there who are viewers. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. Special call out also to the moms out there who have furry babies, dogs and cats, and all the animals out there. Happy Mother's Day to you as well. So I got to spend Mother's Day with my mom. We went out to lunch. Well, let's call it a dinner, really, and it was nice. She's not really aware that it's Mother's Day, but then it was nice to see at the restaurant at least three different people, completely people we didn't know, random people, just came up to her and wished her a happy Mother's Day. So I know that made her happy, and that made me happy. So it was a fun day. And then I came home, and I haven't been doing much YouTubing, like when I'm talking about even watching videos, because every night when I get home lately, I've been watching either the NHL and or the NBA playoffs that are on all day or all night, actually. So I've been spending a lot of time doing that, and this is also the first year that I can get Dodger games. I actually paid for a streaming service where I can get Dodger games without having to illegally get them through my computer. So this is the first time I'm watching the Dodgers in years every night. So that's taking up a lot of my time at night. I usually have it on in the background when I'm doing. Sometimes I'm actually doing things for work or just doing things for my card collection, or just random general and thinking on projects that I'm working on throughout the house. So haven't had much time to do much YouTube, but I love this time of the year when baseball is starting to kick in. We're now in the second month of the season, and the NHL and the NBA playoffs are going full force. I don't know if many of you follow sports. I do. I love sports as much as I love card collecting. And I think they go hand in hand. I know people don't agree with that, but I do enjoy keeping up with sports. Looking forward to football season. In fact, I have a football story coming up in a moment here. But I do love my sports, so very excited about that. I was going to talk to you today about family. I was actually talking to you about my brother-in-law and his sports card collection. It was a cute story, but it being Mother's Day weekend, and one of the YouTube videos I did happen to see was Eric, the Card Closet. He's got a video response going on in regards to how did your mom affect your collection or your hobby, and mom didn't really influence me, so this isn't a submission. But I saw Eric's video, and I thought, oh, that's nice, and I started thinking about my mom. And other than one day in April of 1973, my mother gave me a quarter, and I went to go buy for some reason, this young man on a Sunday afternoon went and bought himself a couple of packs of baseball cards, and it turned into a hobby that I've been in and out of for roughly 50 years, 51 years to be exact. Mom was never the type that bought me a card or anything like that. But there is a story that I am going to share with you, which mom had her hands in, and this dates back, I want to say, somewhere around 1979, potentially 1980, or even as early as 1978. I can't tell you. There was a photograph available of this event, but it's long disappeared in the family photo albums. Way before 9/11, we used to take family members to the airport. I don't know if you guys did that in the 70s and in the 80s. If a family member was leaving, we would all go. We would all go to the airport, and we would all walk past the gate, and there was no TSA line, and there wasn't even I don't even know if there was or the whole screening you. Well, that's the TSA line. But anyway, we would all walk up to the gate with this individual, whether it was our mother or father, departing relative, and we'd sit there and we'd say goodbye to them. And this was a very common occurrence, especially in the 70s. We would go to the airport several times a year. There was always somebody arriving or somebody leaving, and we just all went. It was just a different era back then. Well, one year, a family member was leaving. That's all I can tell you. When I say the family, I'm not just talking mother, brother, sister, cousins, aunts, uncles. Everybody went. It was a chance to hang out. I guess that's what we did on a Saturday night. But we went to the airport, and one of the things that my cousin and I would like to do is there used to be rows of pay phones. For those of you that don't remember, people used to put in dimes and quarters in the phones, and you would get a phone call, and you'd make a phone call. Well, back at Los Angeles International Airport, there were rows of telephones, and my cousin and I would always check to see if there was change in them. And every so often, we'd find a dime or a nickel, and remember back then, a dime got me another pack of baseball cards. So one day we were looking at a phone, and there was nothing there. And this big guy in blue jeans and flannel shirt and a cowboy hat, he said, "Can I use the phone?" And we just stared at him. We said, "Sure." And we walked away. We went and sat down. My cousin and I went and sat down. And these two guys come up to us after, and they go, "Say, do you like football?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like football." They go, "Don't you recognize a football player when you see one?" And I go, "No, who?" And they go, "Don't you realize that guy that just took the phone from you? That's Jack Youngblood." And I was a big Jack Youngblood fan of the Rams, and all of a sudden I was like, I looked at the guy and I was like, "Oh my God, that is Jack Youngblood." And he was sitting there talking on the phone, and all of a sudden we're like, "We have to meet him. We have to meet him." And it's not like we can't prepare to go to a card show with a bunch of cards and a Sharpie. We just go, "What are we going to do?" And we ran to our parents, and we're like, "Mom, there's a football player. We want to meet him." And, we're like rambling 1,000 miles a minute. "Hurry up before he gets off the phone and walks away." All that type of stuff. And Mom goes out of her purse and goes into her purse, finds the only thing that we can get an autograph on. Her business card. It's her business card, and she had a pen. My cousin, he also got like his dad's business card, I think, and a pen, and we bolted to the phone. And we're sitting there. God, talk about give somebody their privacy. And we just sat there and listened, waited for Jack Youngblood to get off the phone. He's sitting there talking to people, or talking on the phone and all that. And after what seemed like 10 minutes, he finally got off the phone. And we just looked at him. We said, "Mr. Youngblood, can we have your autograph?" And he was wonderful. He was like, "Sure." He had a Jack being from Florida, or he at least went to the University of Florida. To me, he had a Southern accent. He kind of had a louder voice, and he was just like, we were like, we're big fans. And he signed the back of my business card, or my mom's business card. And then my family was behind us. And next thing you know, he started talking with everybody. And he couldn't have been, I always remember he sat there talking to my godfather who was there that night. They started talking about the Rams and the Cowboys and the Vikings. This might have lasted for all of 3 minutes. And when all this happened, I guess the commotion that we caused made other people realize, whoa, that's Jack Youngblood, the Hall of Fame, or now he's Hall of Fame, but the all-pro defensive end for the Los Angeles Rams. And before you knew it, there was just one thing I always remember: these beautiful girls, these beautiful women showed up. They looked like cheerleaders. All of a sudden, there was all these beautiful blondes and brunettes around Jack Youngblood getting their photos taken. And, we said goodbye and all that. And for a long time, that was the end of the story. We had Jack Youngblood's autograph. And like I said, there's a photo floating around, but nobody can find it anymore. It's in somebody's photo album. And when social media came out, and specifically Twitter, I saw that Jack Youngblood was on Twitter, and it was his birthday. And I still do this every year, and he always replies. I wrote to Jack and I said, Jack, I go, happy birthday. I tweeted this to him. I said, happy birthday. You won't remember me, but I met you in the late 70s when I was 14 years old, and you couldn't have been nicer. And I go, I just want to wish you a happy birthday. I left it at that. Next thing you know, an hour later, my cousin, who at the time was now working at ESPN, he texts me and he goes, hey, I go, what? And he goes, Jack Youngblood tweeted you back. And I said, what? And I jumped on, and all he said was, thank you, Rick. Appreciate the kind words. And to this day, I would say twice a year, I send him a tweet, and he'll always reply back. When the Rams went to the Super Bowl, I had the good fortune of going to the NFC Championship game, and I wear a Rams jersey, a Jack Youngblood jersey, and I get good recognition with that. I'm surprised. I get a lot of people come up to me. They're usually older people, and they're always like, oh my God, Jack Youngblood. And last year I met a woman. It was really kind of funny. She had her Jack Youngblood jersey. I had mine on, so she goes, let's get our photo taken. And I don't wear the blue and yellow jersey. I wear the blue and white jersey that Jack Youngblood wore his first year with the Rams, which I believe was in 1972. And if you look at the 1972 or the 1973 tops, his rookie card, you'll see Jack Youngblood wearing the Rams blue and white uniforms. That Roman Gabriel and Merlin Olsen, those guys made famous. But I send him a photo every so often of me in a jersey at SoFi, and he always replies or he gives me a heart. And it's a great memory. And it's funny when you meet someone, if he had been a jerk to me, who knows, maybe things would have been different. But because I admired him so much growing up, and he was such a great player, and to see him go to the Super Bowl and go to the Hall of Fame, and then to be a nice guy on top of that, just completely made my day. And to this day, if I notice he hasn't tweeted in several months, I get a little nervous because he's getting older, as we all are, and I'm like, I just want to make sure he's okay. So that is my story about Mom and Jack Youngblood of the Los Angeles Rams. And there was a case where Mom, as moms always do, they always had something in their purses. So that helped me out. All right, so what are we going to do today? You see that case right there, right here. Those are where I keep my graded cards that aren't on these display walls behind the screen that you don't see and in the hallway. I'm going to do something really random. After I log off here, I am going to pull out 12 random cards. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to put them on the table, and then I'm going to show them to you, and hopefully I'll have a story behind them. All right? So, enough talking. Here we go. All right. So I bought this image of Jack Youngblood because since I didn't get an autographed photo, I bought this, and bought this a few years ago. And here is the autograph that Jack gave me that day. And there it is. I have kept it. I literally just put it in a penny sleeve for the first time. This autograph is over 40 years old. And I've always, as I mentioned to you last week, I'm kind of a complicated person. And the reason I have not put this into some type of display is that I don't know what to do about this. This is my mother's business card. And I don't know, I just don't want to bury it either, just by having a display, doing some type of display that's fancier than this. But then I go, we'll never see my mother's business side of the card ever again. And then a friend of mine said, why don't you just make a photocopy of it and put the autograph here and put her business card here, just as a personal memory for yourself. So that is an option. But yeah, this is still the autograph I got all those years ago. It's my cousin, I think, lost his. And like I say, there is a photo out there somewhere in a family photo album, but there's hundreds of photo albums. So I don't think we're ever going to find it. So here is my future Jack Youngblood display. So, yeah, that's someday I'll get that done. Let's change this right here now. Okay, so I picked 12 cards at random, and I don't know if I have a story here. So I have not looked at them, so let's see what I'm going to show you. Okay, my first card, these are in no particular order, by the way, either. 1957 Topps, Robin Roberts in a PSA 5. I bought this card a couple of years ago when I was working on the 57 set. I think I paid like 20 bucks, $25, I'm not sure. But that's Robin Roberts. Next card is the 1989 Ken Griffey Jr. in a 7. I know a lot of people love this card. I'm just such a vintage guy that I just kind of look at this card and just go, yeah, okay. Do love the Upper Deck cards, though. I really love the first 3 years of Upper Deck. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey, they look spectacular. After that, I really lost interest in them. But that is my Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. Card number 3, let's see. Okay, the 1956 Topps Dodger team. I do remember buying this because I got it at a good price. But when the shipper sold it, or when the seller shipped, this chipped on delivery. So he gave me my money back so I can get this card graded or reslabbed. I just never did anything about it. But I believe that's Jackie Robinson up there. But here's the 1956 Brooklyn Dodgers team photo. All right, card number 4. This is a 1955 Golden Stamps Roy Campanella. Now it's got the cover, so he was on the cover here. And it's roughly 32 cards. I have half of them graded, half of them ungraded. I have the full set. I don't know if I'll ever grade them. I have not looked at prices in years, but these things are a lot cheaper than buying, let's say, like a 1955 Topps set. But there is a Koufax, there is a Lasorda, Campanella, Jackie. So it's a good set to have. I think I paid like $100 for it several years ago. What's next? A 1953 Topps Sid Hudson. Sid Hudson. I know I paid, maybe $20, $30. This was considered a high number 251. I know that it wasn't easy to get. And I couldn't find it ungraded at a good price, so I found this graded version at a decent price. And I ended up buying that. So that is Sid Hudson. All right, the next card is a 1933 Gowdy Dazzy Vance. I bought this card. Technically, this is not a Dodger card. The front is a photo of Dazzy in a Dodger uniform or a Brooklyn uniform, but the back, he got traded to the Cardinals during the offseason, is on the St. Louis Cardinals. But at the time, I wanted it for my Dodger display wall. I didn't care about the back. I liked the photo in the front because I knew it was a Brooklyn uniform, and I bought it. I have since then, but I have a 1927 W560 Dazzy Vance, and I have a 1929 Dazzy Vance. One of those is now on my Dodger display wall, and this one just goes in the regular case now. So that's Dazzy Vance. All right, a few more. Okay, I'm starting to get tired of showing these Morel Meats cards because they're showing up in, seems like all my videos lately. Here's a 1960 Morel Meats Wally Moon in a PSA 1, most likely a 1 because of the paper loss right there. I bought this a couple of months ago, paid all of $18 for it, so I'm not complaining. All right, what's next? The 1961 Topps Bob Friend All-Star card. Bob Friend. You guys know my admiration for this set. Yeah, what's next? Okay. Jim Fregosi, a 1971 Topps Jim Fregosi. Loved. Okay, I could tell this is Yankee Stadium. Love the look back then. The Angels, they had a halo back there on top of the helmet. The stirrups, I was a big fan of. Didn't like the era, especially like when guys like Barry Bonds were playing, where we couldn't see any socks, any stirrups. Looks coming back, and not necessarily with stirrups, but what do you call them? Just full socks, full colored socks. But this is Jim Fregosi. He was my first favorite player of the Angels. When I was a kid, I did like the Angels as well as the Dodgers. He was my favorite player. Then they traded him off to New York for some guy named Nolan Ryan. He came back in 1979 as the manager and led the Angels to their first ever National League West or American League West championship. And he went to the World Series with the Phillies. I don't think they won. I could be wrong. Somebody, Philly fan out there, somebody's got to tell me. Anyway, so there's Jim Fregosi. Got a couple more. Another 61 high number, and that's the Ernie Banks. I think this was the last card I needed to finish my 61 set, my high numbers. So that's Ernie Banks. Let's see, 63 Stan Musial. That was my first Stan Musial card I ever bought. And I only have a couple. I have this, and actually I think I only have this in the 1953 Bowman, and I have an all-star card of his. So that is Stan Musial. God, look at these stats back here. Great player, Stan the Man Musial. And the last card is going to be another 63 card. Okay. 1963 Topps Duke Snider. At this point, he was playing for the New York Mets. The Dodgers had traded him over the summer or over the offseason. So he's still in his Dodger uniform, but since Topps had some capless poses, this really worked for his career with the Mets, where he only played 2 years. He played 63 and part of 64. I think he played part of 64. I know he ended up on the Giants. But so, yeah, I just decided to throw out 12 random cards just because, let's look at, you guys are always like, let's look at some cards. So I wanted to share some cards with you guys today, and that's what we're going to do. So these are some various cards from my collection. If you stuck around this long, thanks so much. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.